Good afternoon and welcome back to another show of a guy and his projects. Today we have to maintenance the oil on our 2014 Nissan Sentra. We're at 11,000 miles I think. Actually a little bit overdue on the change by about 1,000 miles, but that's alright. Today we are going to be going a little bit controversial. Typically I'm a Pennzoil guy. I use Pennzoil Platinum full synthetic in most of my vehicles all the time. Today though we're changing it up. We are going to be putting in Amazon Basics oil full synthetic in this vehicle. Now you might ask me why. I say why not? I'm not stuck in my ways. I like the Pennzoil Platinum, but I'm not stuck with it. I'm just stick with it because it's worked. I'm always good to give something new a try, and especially if there's a huge controversy about it, usually I like to jump in and see what it's all about. So that is what we're doing today. Today we are going to be doing the oil filter. It's going to be a little bit different than your application likely because I have a stall bus oil drain valve. Now a stall bus oil drain valve is nothing you need. It's nothing to make the job easier. It's not going to change your life in any way. It's just going to make the oil change more convenient. This oil change will still apply if you have this vehicle or pretty much any vehicle. It's fairly similar in all vehicles. The only difference is instead of pulling out a drain plug like you're going to do when I get there, I'm going to plug in a adapter and it just, oil flows through a tube rather than splashing around. You'll see that when we get there. But first, we gotta pop the hood. I do like to do this on ramps. It makes it easier for me. That is your discretion, your call. I don't care what you do. If you can fit under there, go fit under there. Ramps just makes it a little more easily accessible. Speaking of things that are different, any of you with this car, if you have figured out a way to get rid of this hood prop and put in hydraulic hood struts, let me know those part numbers. I've looked, I have not found anything, and I have not had time to jump in and customize something. So if you have found something that works, please share the wealth in the comments below or private message me either way. So you've got your hood up. Before I do anything, I'm going to pop this right here. It's a little bit tight. And just pull that up so it's done, it's out of the way. Okay, so as mentioned, the only part different from my oil change on this vehicle and your oil change on this vehicle is the fact that I have that stall bus oil drain valve. What that allows me to do is typically I don't even need this drain pan. I just drain right into the recycle can. However, for the purpose of demonstration, we are going to use the pan just so you can see. So the stall bus oil drain valve, please see I've done a full review on this valve and I have done an install video on it on my wife's minivan. If you're interested in more information on that, please watch that. It'll be linked below. But with this valve, all I have to do down here is pull this cap off. Notice there's no leaks, so let's solve that right there. Now, what I'm doing right now, what all you are doing if you have a standard setup is you're just pulling that drain plug. You're gonna make a little bit of a mess, but it's nothing extraordinary. Me, check this out. No mess, no drips, no nothing. Oil just drains out. That's what the stall bus oil drain valve is all about. I feel like breaking into song right now. People have asked, does it take longer to drain your oil like this? I say, I don't know. I've never timed it without, and I've never timed it with. I do know that it doesn't bother me if it does take any longer because it's a very minuscule amount. This will change the oil color. It'll be the tube will be clear after this is done draining, so it's very obvious when it is done. Does flow out plenty fast. So now while you're waiting for that to dry, while you're waiting for that to dry, typically I will go ahead and take my oil filter off. Other thing nice about this drain valve hose is that you can, I don't know if you can see it bubbling, it's just about done. You can flexibly move it anywhere you want to drain. So I mean, if we wanted to, we could leave it right there, sit it there, we can move it wherever we want. so that it's not in our way, and we can have this to catch anything from our oil filter. So your oil filter, if done right, you should typically be able to get it off by hand. I do my own oil changes, so I know I can get it by hand because I don't freaking Superman tighten it. I just tighten it till it's tight. Now on your filter, because this is vertical, it's still going to leak out some oil. That's what I do. I just get it to the point where it starts leaking, and then I let it dribble itself out before I take it all the way off, just to avoid getting myself a mess. And I don't know if you can tell that clear hose on the valve. It is clear, which means that's done draining as well. But we're already here, so let's go ahead and take this off. Oh, almost dropped it anyway. Be careful, all this stuff is hot because we warmed the engine way up before we did this. Okay, as far as oil filter goes, you may have seen the last one we had was a Mobile 1, and the one going back in is also a Mobile 1. I use the extended performance. It says it protects for up to 1 year or 20,000 miles. Whether I believe that or not, I don't know. What I can say is I buy this one and I still change it out every 5,000 miles, which is about every 2 months for me in this car. I put on a lot of miles driving back and forth to work. This vehicle takes the M1 108A. I also like to use K&N products or Oil Purple. Any of the three are my favorites. I just get whatever the store happens to have available and whichever one's cheapest at the time. So when you pull this out, that's your filter. This is what's going to go back in. In any case, you want to dip your finger in some old oil, new oil, doesn't matter. Get it nice and lubed up, and you're going to lube this gasket. This is going to prevent a couple things. One, it's going to prevent leaks because it's going to create a good seal, a healthy seal. Two, it's going to prevent this thing from getting locked on in place. And three, when you take it off again, it should come off with the gasket rather than the gasket getting stuck to the whatchamacallit, thingy-mabob, whatever it is. Just makes life better in general, so I say just do it. Spin it in, and like I said, I only do hand tight, so right about there. I've never once had a leak on an oil filter in my entire life. I've done my own oil changes for a long time, and I put a lot of miles on my vehicles. My point being, I've done a lot of oil changes and I've never had a leak from the oil filter doing just what you just saw. So that is my standard. That's what I go to. And I can always take it back off with my bare hands. Once in a great while I'll need a tool, but that's very rare and doesn't happen often at all. I just sum it up to I had my Wheaties the morning that I put it on when I can't get it back off. So now you're just going to dry this area up with your towel and we'll move on. So to take this off, all you do, push it in, quarter turn, pull it off. Notice, very clean, very mess-free. I am all about that. Like I said, it doesn't make life easier, but it does make life more enjoyable. You're just going to take your cap, put your cap back on, back to the top. Okay, so one of the things that's going to help you with this project that you should have is your manual, your owner's manual for your specific vehicle. Why, you ask? Because this is going to give you information where you can go in and you can find out. And it's probably not going to read as good as I think. But you can go in, you can find your engine oil capacities. This is going to tell you with oil change or filter change and without oil filter change. I always do a filter, and I always recommend you do a filter for the extra 10 bucks. It's worth it. That's going to be 4 1/4 quarts of oil. Your owner's manual is also going to give you valuable information as for what type of oil, if you can't find the proper oil, what you can use as a substitute. This owner's manual is something every owner of every vehicle should have for each vehicle they have. Okay, so as mentioned, we are using Amazon Basics Full Synthetic 0W20. 0W20 is the recommended weight from the manufacturer on this vehicle. We're going to put it in, and it's either going to blow up or run just like it did yesterday. I'm betting on the just like it did yesterday thing. So there were a lot of negative reviews on this product for the bottle itself, saying the bottle did not have this clear strip. The case I came with has this clear strip, so I'm guessing the issue was rectified, or maybe it was just a batch got missed. I don't know. Anyway, you do have the strip. All is good in the world. Get your last quart. You're only going to use a quarter of it. Nice thing about that oil drain valve too is if you end up overfilling your oil for some reason, instead of having to use a suction tube to suck it back out, you can simply plop that in for however long you need and just pull it right back out. Not typically an issue I have. Put your cap back on. So at this point, now that you've got your system full, you can back yourself off the ramps, take a little drive if you want, come back in, park on a level surface. You're going to check your dipstick tube, make sure that you are at a proper level, and then that's it. You did your oil. You just saved yourself some money. I hope this video helps you. If it did, give it a thumbs up and let me know in the comments. If you learned something, then give me a thumbs up and let me know what you learned in the comments. Also subscribe so you can see more videos. I do videos on this car, my other vehicles, my motorcycle, the house, other people's vehicles, other people's houses, and I'm trying to film them all for you guys. So this is I do have a full-time job and a part-time job in addition to doing this. So if you want to keep seeing these videos, subscribe. That's our 2014 Nissan Sentra oil change with filter with the stall bus oil drain valve. Thanks for watching, guys. See you next time.